Hello everybody, my name is Elena. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're doing my May wrap up. Okay, I felt like May was like 3 months ago. So if I seem a bit out of it when I'm talking about these books, and if I am not giving you details, that's why. I feel like I read these books last year, okay? So I don't know how much I remember, but I will give you my overall thoughts. And this is probably going to be a bit shorter than my other wrap-ups, but I apologize. I read 9 books this month, which is a bit less than what I usually read. I mean, considering last month, like last month, I mean like April, I read 21 books, and in May I read 9. Still okay. Okay, less than what I usually read, but the ratings were all really good and I really liked all the books that I read, so that's a plus. The average rating was a 4.11. There's only 1 month where the average rating has been better, and that is, I think, January, where it was like crazy high because I had a lot of 5-star reads. So I'm actually very happy with this month. I started it off with Scythe by Neal Shusterman. This is also from the TBR video that I do every month, so if you haven't seen them, you can go check them out. I have a playlist and I will link them. But I read Scythe. I listened to it on audiobook. I wanted to read it physically, but I was like, you know what? I need an audiobook and I have this, so I might as well just listen to it. I really enjoyed this. I had tried to read this previously, like, oh, I want to say 3 years ago, but it's way longer than that. It's like maybe 4 years ago or 5 years ago. It's been sitting on my shelf for a very long time. So I finally decided to read it and I listened to it on audiobook, and I really enjoyed the audiobook, by the way. So if you've been thinking about listening to it, you should pick it up. It's really good. If you don't know what Scythe is about, it's a dystopian sci-fi kind of book where it's thousands and thousands of years into the future where humanity have conquered everything, and they've conquered like hunger, disease, war, misery, and even death. So now we're facing this problem of overpopulation, and there's these community of people that are trained called scythes, and they basically control the overpopulation. And they don't call it murdering people because they're not murdering people. It's called gleaning. So they'll run like statistics of like how often people died in like our time right now. We're like, oh, how many car accidents were happening a day, whatever, and they pick someone at random and they glean them, and that's how you maintain the overpopulation or whatever. And Citra, which is one of our main characters, and Rowan, our other main character, get picked to be apprentices to a scythe, and then one of them will have to kill the other one and then become a scythe. I'm sorry, glean the other one and then become a scythe, but neither of them want to do that. And that's where the story kind of starts off. I really liked the writing in this book. Listen, it's written by a man. I couldn't tell. I'm very apprehensive about reading books from men, okay? It's just the way that they talk is not for me. So I usually just read the girlies, but this, it was okay. It was more than okay. This was really good. I didn't see any problem with it. I felt like Citra was a good female main character. She didn't feel creepy. There wasn't any of that like underlying creepiness that some books have when they're written by men. It all felt really good. I loved some of the plot twists. Like near the halfway point, it got so heated and I was like, oh my god, I had to stop my Sims build. I was like, no, hold on, I need to focus. I gave it 4 stars. Next book that I read was Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. I really enjoyed this book. This is the second book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. The first book is Done and Dusted. I haven't read the first book. I don't know if I'm gonna read it, but I really enjoyed this. This is like obviously pretty short. So fun, so cute. I loved the kind of maturity that the characters had. Even though it is quite a spicy book and there is a lot of physical attraction happening, they felt really mature. And they were having important conversations, and I loved the relationship between the two characters. It felt really real, even though it started off as a physical attraction. It was pretty deep. I really liked it. Oh yeah, it had a lot of talk about depression and anxiety and stuff like that, because the guy suffers from depression and anxiety. I don't know his name. I don't remember. Right? No, Weston. His name is Weston, and her name is Ada. Yes, okay. If you don't know what this book is about, it's set in like at a ranch, small town. This girl got out of like a pretty bad relationship, and she's an interior designer, and she gets hired by him to kind of rebuild this old ranch house that they had, and they bond through the process of rebuilding it and stuff. I really liked this. The found family was really cute. I loved the whole setting. It was just, if you like Chestnut Springs, I feel like you should pick this up. I gave it 4 stars. And then I decided to read another book that I picked for my TBR in that TBR video, and that is Supernatural Night Terror by John Passarella. This is the little spin-off books from the TV show Supernatural, which is my favorite, if you didn't know. I picked this up like 2 years ago, read 100 pages, didn't pick it up for those next 2 years, and then when I picked it back up again, I read 200 pages in one sitting, and then the next day I finished it. I guess that tells you that you need to be in the mood to read a certain book. Basically, if you don't know what Supernatural is about, it's about these 2 brothers and they go hunting. And I don't mean hunting deer or animals, I mean hunting demons and ghosts and ghouls and like all these like paranormal stuff. And it really focuses on the brotherly bond. I'm talking about the show. The book doesn't focus a lot on that, so that's kind of where I docked a few points. Also, I feel like it was a bit too long, just like the tiniest bit, but the writing was still really fun, really enjoyable. The characters were pretty true to themselves. Some parts weren't, but most of it pretty good. Really liked it. I don't really have like serious complaints about it. If you've watched the show, I think you should pick the books up. It is written by a man again. I don't know what happened to me this month, okay? I think I blacked out. Still pretty good. Was not disappointed. Really liked it. I gave this 3.75 stars. And then I decided to branch out, and I read a poetry book, which I have read poetry books before, but I don't usually read them. And my friend Janet really loves this book. She gave it 5 stars. She adores it. So I was like, okay, I should probably read it because it's been on my TBR for a while. And that book is I Saw You as a Flower by Ellen Everett. First of all, the cover is beautiful. I don't have a physical copy, but it's so pretty. Second of all, the poems were so sweet, so touching. Janet used a really good word to describe the book, and I don't remember what it was. I'll put the word on the screen that she used to describe this book, but it's really good. It's basically poems about getting out of a bad relationship and then kind of growing into yourself and getting that confidence back and then falling in love again, but in like a better relationship and stuff like that. And it was just really good. The poems were really touching, really tender, gentle. It's very sweet poetry. Like it's not really in your face. It's very mellow, but it's so pretty. And if Ellen Everett writes other poetry books, I probably will read them. I really enjoyed this book, and I gave it 4.25 stars. And then I read a 5-star for the month, and that is Funny Story by Emily Henry. This is Emily Henry's new release. It released in April, but I didn't have time to read it. If you've seen my channel before, you will know that my favorite Emily Henry book is People We Meet on Vacation. I know that's an unpopular opinion. Let's not get into it, okay? I just love that book a lot, and I had given it 4.75 stars. Funny Story has somehow topped it because the characters were so funny, so witty. The banter is like the banter in every Emily Henry book. Like, it's really good. The storyline was so fun. Everything about it was so well done. The quotes, the writing, the situations that were happening in the book, the bonding that we got between the characters, the deep talks, the quotes, literally everything was on point. And I will stand by the fact that Funny Story is Emily Henry's best book. I know people will disagree because Beach Read, people love Beach Read. I also like it, but I don't adore it. Like, it's a 4-star read for me. I really like it, but like, I'm not one of those people that really identifies with Beach Read or Happy Place. I think Funny Story is her best written book. Those are my thoughts on it. If you haven't read it, I think you should definitely pick it up. Also, if you've read other Emily Henry books and you haven't liked them, I think it's still worth picking this one up because it is a bit different. And then I read another book from my TBR, and that is Check-in Mate by Ali Hazelwood. This was long overdue, okay? I have had this on my TBR since February, and I finally decided to read it. I don't know why I waited so long. Firstly, I thought I would read it as like a physical book. I didn't. I read it as an audiobook. I was doing a Sims build. I always am. But yeah, this was really good. The first half of this, I thought it was going to be 5 stars. The second half, her sisters, like the main character's sisters, really annoyed me. I understand that they have that kind of relationship, but that could never be me. I got so annoyed with them. I was so angry at them. And just like the conflict, I felt like I didn't really get it, and it was just kind of weird. I don't know. The conflict felt a little bit off. So I didn't give it 5 stars, but I did give it 4.5 because I adored this book still. I loved the chess aspect. Like, chess is a really heavy topic in this, and I love it. And the relationship between the two characters was so well done. The chemistry that they had was insane. And it was really funny. And obviously, it's Ali Hazelwood, so obviously I'm gonna like it. And then I had this one night where I couldn't sleep. In fact, I woke up from a nightmare and I was like, well, I can't sleep now. So I went on YouTube and I saw that Chloe Bunny was doing a stream. And I opened it and they said they were gonna read The Fake Out by Stephanie Archer. That is the second book in the Vancouver Storms series by her. And I read the first book, I think. Actually, it's in a vlog. It's the reading hockey books, because hockey season was over vlog, whatever. I read the first book then, loved it. I gave it 4 stars. So I was like, oh my god, yeah, I should continue the series because like the second book is out. And so I did. And I picked it up and I was reading it at like 3 a.m. It was really funny, okay? It was really funny. It was really cute. I continued it the next day. I think I read it in like 3 days. It was really fast read. I gave it 4 stars. I gave it the same as the first book. I thought I would give it more than the first book, but somewhere in the middle it kind of fell off a little bit. I can't tell you exactly what because I don't remember. I'm gonna be completely honest. I just really like this book. I do think I preferred the second book to the first one, but I gave them the same rating, so I love both. If you want like an easy hockey romance, kind of no third act breakup type of romances, pick these up. If you don't know what The Fake Out is about, it's about this girl that is the physical therapist for this hockey team called the Vancouver Storms, and her ex-boyfriend gets drafted into the team that she works with, and she has a really bad relationship with him, and now that he's on the team that she works for, he's kind of hitting on her, and she's like, okay, I cannot do this right now, just leave me alone. And she decides to start fake dating another guy on the team that she works for that just happens to be her ex-boyfriend's biggest rival. So they kind of make him mad and jealous. It was so good. The banter was so good. It was just really cute. And the last book that I read this month, and I want you to cheer when I show you this because I finally read Blue Lily, Lily Blue by Maggie Stiefvater. I know. Thank you. Thank you so much. I read the first and the second book a year ago, and I never picked up the third one. I had it, just didn't read it. And I'm gonna be honest, I kind of had to force myself to start this book because I don't know what it is about it. I just was not in the mood, but I was like, okay, I have to knock this out of my TBR. I can't keep looking at it, you know? The first, like, 100 pages of this, great. I mean, it had, like, kind of a slow start, but obviously it's, like, the beginning of the book. Obviously it's gonna have kind of a slower start. The next 50 to 100 pages after that were agonizingly slow. I was like, oh my god, I kind of low-key was getting like DNF feelings, and I was like, don't do this to me. And the second that I felt like that, I think the book heard me because she was like, oh, okay, let me switch it up. And then dropped like one of the biggest reveals in the series. This is the 3rd book in the Raven cycle, by the way. And then the tabs started coming in because we kicked off like the story and the characters together and what was happening at the end, and I was like, oh my god, this is so good. And yeah, I gave this 4.5 stars. It is in no way a low rating, however it is the lowest from the 3 books. Actually, it goes in order. The first book's my favorite, and then it's the second one, and then it's this third one. I do own the 4th one. It's right there, so I will be reading it at some point. I don't know when. I feel like it's gonna destroy me and I'm gonna cry, and I have a feeling that it's gonna like end tragically, so kind of putting it off. But I really did enjoy this. I felt like every book has kind of like their own mini villain, I guess, that you follow through the book. This one felt a bit meh. Like the villains in it, I was like, okay. They did annoy me right at the end though. Like the way that this book ends, I could have thrown it against the wall. I was so angry. I wasn't angry in a bad way. I was just so annoyed. I was like, you cannot be fucking serious. I'm excited for the last book. I'm also really scared, so I don't know when I'm gonna read it, but I will try to make it this year, okay? I won't take another year-long break. And those are all the books that I read in May. I like finished my entire TBR, and all the other books that I was thinking about reading, I read all of them. And I read an unexpected read, which was the poetry book. So I felt really good in May, even though I read less books than what I usually read. It just shows you that sometimes it is quality over quantity. And reading is not a competition. You read however much you want, however much you can. However many books make you feel good, that's the amount that you should be reading, okay? That is what I'm going to leave you with. Thank you so much for watching. You can like, comment, subscribe if you would like, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.